to order the meeting of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee of Wednesday, April 28th, 2021. My name is David Campos, and I am the chair of the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee. We are now streaming live on Facebook. So thank you to each and every one of you for being here tonight. And I do want to note that tonight is not only an historic night for the country, but it's also a historic night for San Francisco, because if you're watching the presidential address by President Joe Biden, you will see for the first time ever, two women standing at the dais right behind the president. And these are two San Francisco women, Vice President Kamala Harris and Speaker Nancy Pelosi. So I just want to give them a hand and just note the significance of that for San Francisco. And I wanted to start our meeting tonight by noting that. So with that, I will now turn it over to our recording secretary, Janice Lee, for the roll call.
Great. What an opener. Thank you, Chair Campos. All right, Member Avalos.
Present.
Member Braca.
Here.
Member Barry.
Presente.
Chair Campos.
Present.
Member Chen.
Here.
Member Dufty. Member Galata.
Here.
Member Haiti.
Here by proxy.
Member Ibanez.
Presente.
Member Kim. Member Lacroix. Member Lee here. Member Loftus.
By proxy.
Member Lovett.
Here.
Member Mandelman.
Here, and Dufty's here too.
Okay, cool, thanks. And Member Marr.
Here by proxy.
Member Mahogany.
Here.
Member Maliga.
Here.
Member Morales.
Here.
Member Raju.
Here.
Member Ronan. Member Thomas.
Here.
Member Tong.
Here.
Member Williams.
Member Williams here by proxy. Proxy is Vice Chair Lacroix.
Okay, and I got that you're here, Vice Chair Lacroix.
And I'm
Member
also
Feinstein.
proxying for Member Kim.
Oh,
Sorry to
okay,
interrupt. Thanks.
got it.
By proxy.
Thank you. Member Pelosi.
Here by proxy.
Member Spear.
I think Spear might be coming later because of the address.
Fair. Member Kounalakis.
Here by proxy.
Member Ma.
Excused.
Member Cohen.
Here by proxy.
Member Weiner.
Here by proxy.
Member Ting.
Here by proxy.
Got it. And then I think the only person I didn't hear from is Member Ronan.
Santiago Lamar is going to be her proxy, and I'm going to send him the link right now.
Great, thanks. Great. We have
here by
quorum
proxy
left.
as well.
Member two.
Oh, sorry. I missed Q at the bottom. Thank you.
Great, member two by proxy. So it looks like we have a quorum. Thank you very much, Madam Secretary. We'll now move on to item number 2, which is the approval of the meeting agenda. And I would just note that we're not going to be voting on item number 3 tonight. We will come back to that item at the next meeting. So is there a motion to approve the agenda with that change?
So moved.
Motion by Avalos, Member Avalos. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Member Barry. Can we take that without objection? Without objection. We will now move on to the next item, which is general public comment. And this is one of the most important portions of the meeting, where we hear directly from San Francisco Democrats and others who are interested in what's happening in the San Francisco Democratic Party. And I forgot to mention at the beginning that it's a very big week for the California Democratic Party because the California Democratic Party convention starts tomorrow. And I love the picture that Member Avalos has in the background, which is, again, notes the significance of today with two San Francisco women in the background. So with that, I'll turn it over to our executive director. And we're gonna, unless there's any objection, we're gonna limit the meeting public comment to 1 minute.
Okay.
Executive Director Lynch.
Hello, everyone. So for public comment, we have Alan Terrones, who is here, who's going to be the timekeeper. Please just make sure to hear his alarm. So you have 1 minute to make a public comment. You need to use the function raise hand is at the bottom of your screen. Like this, I can see you. If you're using your, if you're entering this call via phone, please dial *9. And if you cannot figure this out, you can always send me an email to info@sfdemocrat.org. And you can see my email is in the chat. So you can send me my email just to make sure I can see you. Or if you have any difficulty, we can fix it and I can bring you on for a public comment. So for the first public comment, we have Christine Pelosi.
So we're going to turn it over to Christine Pelosi.
Yes, she's here.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much. Like you, I'm also watching President Biden, but I did want to pop in to say thank you to the San Francisco Democratic Party for your support of me over the past 10 years as Women's Caucus Chair, and to let you know that tomorrow night I'll be passing the gavel to Carolyn Fowler from Southern California and a great team of activists, including our own Pratima Gupta. We're still counting her as ours, even though she's now in San Diego. So please come by the Women's Caucus tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. And I'll look forward to continue serving you and connecting with you through my service on the DNC. Again, thank you very much. And we hope to see you tomorrow night at 7:30 p.m. on Zoom. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Pelosi, for your many years of service. And it only means that you're going to have more time to do all the other things you're doing. So thank you.
Thank you. And congratulations to you, Chair Campos.
Thank you.
Next speaker, we have Susan Pfeiffer. Then we have Arlo, Laksh, and Jennifer. Susan? We cannot hear you. Yeah, perfect.
It's unmuted. I'm going to try to get this in a minute. I got.
You have more time. You're, you know, an
Thank you.
associate member.
You know, these are important things. First of all, I want to congratulate David Campos. That was not on the original plan, but definitely. What I'm talking about tonight is the American Rescue Plan and the changes to the Affordable Care Act, and specifically covered California. And for those of you on tonight who are proxies for members of the Board of Supervisors, and I see Edward and Han, I don't know if there are others, and it may be a proxy for other electeds. I need your help getting the word out to your constituents, because the changes are extraordinary. Consumers at any income level may be eligible for financial assistance. No one will pay, what is this? Where is that? It's 8.5% of your income. Your healthcare should not cost you more than 8.5% of your total income. That has never happened before. People who earn more than 400% above the federal poverty level have not been able to get a subsidy until now. They will now. Currently uninsured consumers will see more financial help and lower premiums than ever before. And those who gave up trying to get a plan on Cover California, they just couldn't afford it. And went off exchange and bought it direct. If you bought from one of the insurance companies on the exchange, you can come back to the exchange and save money, and anything you've put towards your deductible will show up there. All of the insurance companies on the exchange have agreed to do this. So I'm hearing some voices.
Yeah, Judith, go ahead.
There is a heat map on the exchange that I'm going to share, not tonight. I've got it, they just posted it, where it shows where the areas in each county are that have the most number of uninsured. I am working with the California Black Health Network, and we know that one of the larger groups that needs help is the African American Black community. So any of you with those in your among your constituents, help me help them. I can do enrollments. And I just did one in Southern California the other day. The woman had been paying $219 a month. She's now paying $38 a month. All she wanted to do was update her income to reflect the slight change in Social Security. She started at age 63, and her premium went down that much. And I had Cover California on the phone with me. I said, "Is this real?" They said, "Yes, that's what's happening." So, and they've updated the calculator for Shop and Compare. So if you have been costed out, go back and try it and contact me if you need any help. I'm just really excited about this. So, and then one last quick note, Saturday, May 8th, I'm involved with the Bay Area John Lewis Voting Rights Act Votercade out of Oakland, but there's only one for the Bay Area. And if you go to Bay Area John Lewis Voting Rights.org, you'll get the information on how to sign up. It's a votercade. It's like a motorcade, but we're going to have all signs on all the cars about the John Lewis Voting Rights Act. I'll shut up now. Thank you.
Thank you, Piper, for everything you do. Next speaker, Madam Executive Director.
Next speaker, we have Arlo, then we have Lack, and then Jennifer. Hello?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, members. My name is Harlow. I live in District 7, San Francisco. I'm also a member of DSA San Francisco, and I'm calling tonight to support member Galata's resolution urging Prop I funds to be split between rent relief and social housing. The mayor's recent refusal to commit to using Prop I funds for this purpose has created a lot of fear and uncertainty at a time when San Franciscans are still struggling. Even before the pandemic, far too many were insecurely housed, homeless, and at risk of displacement. And we're now facing a crisis where thousands of tenants are unable to pay their rent. The city estimates it could be as high as $32 million per month in unpaid rent due to the impacts of COVID-19 each month. So using these funds for rent relief and affordable housing is the right thing to do, and it's what the voters asked for loud and clear. In 2020, 58% of voters supported Prop I with the clear intent that the increased revenues from large real estate transactions would go towards these purposes. So we must build a society where housing is no longer a commodity and everyone lives in safe, affordable, sustainable housing without fear of eviction or displacement. Please vote to support this resolution and ensure that we uphold the will of San Francisco voters and provide desperately needed relief. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker, we have Lax, then Jennifer, then we have a number finishing by 56. Oh, sorry, I brought up Michael. Michael, go first, you with us. Lax, I will bring you just after. Sorry about that.
Hello, yes. Good evening, members. Michael Gumban Pangilinan, the current chair of the Filipino American Democratic Club of San Francisco, and I'm here tonight to ask that the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee approve my club's petition for rechartering. This is the third time that I have presented to this board with a petition for rechartering, and I hope that my request will be granted again. The Filipino American Democratic Club of San Francisco is a member of the Filipino American Democratic Caucus of the California Democratic Party, which is meeting this week. We are proud partners of the community we represent, and we also wish to continue being a voice for the San Francisco Filipino community. We look forward to continue partnering with the other distinguished clubs of this organization and to continue in participation in future SFDCCC events. Please vote yes in allowing our club to continue its mission and representing its constituents in San Francisco. Thank you all, and in unity for all Democrats. Good evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Next speaker, we have Larch. Sorry about that. And then we have Jennifer and a phone number finishing by 56.
Good evening, members. My name is Laksh. I'm calling in support of item number 9, also member Galata's resolution to spend Prop I funds as the Board of Supervisors and voters intended. I helped write Prop K, which is linked to Prop I, and I'm very grateful for the Democratic Party's support of both Props I and K. Prop I is very crucial both for short-term COVID rent relief, but also long-term investment in social housing to create the housing infrastructure that we need to guarantee housing as a human right. And already this year, the Board of Supervisors unanimously approved a supplemental appropriation for half of Prop I's revenues for this first half of the year to go towards rent relief and half to go towards social housing. It's uncommon for supplemental appropriations to pass, but the board clearly recognized the will of the voters. So whether that money will be spent as intended in the next 2 fiscal years depends on Mayor Breed. It is really critical that we act now to decommodify housing in the middle of this pandemic. So I would ask you to please approve item number 9 and urge Mayor Breed and the full Board of Supervisors to continue to uphold the will of San Francisco voters on Prop I.
Thumbs up.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next speaker, we have Jennifer. Then we have the phone number finishing by 56, and then Patricia.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, yeah, okay, hi. My name is Jennifer Fang. I live in District 3, and I'm also a member of DSASF. Like the previous callers, I'm also calling to support member Peter Galota's resolution calling for Prop I funds to be split between rent relief and social housing. The private market has failed to adequately house thousands of San Franciscans. Gentrification and the rapidly worsening global climate crisis are already causing mass displacement with the greatest impact on poor communities of color. We need to build a society where housing is no longer a commodity and everybody lives in safe, affordable, sustainable housing. And that's why I urge the committee to support this resolution calling for the mayor and the board to appropriate Prop I funds for rent relief and social housing. We need rent relief as tenants face millions of dollars in rent due to the pandemic. And beyond the immediate rent debt crisis, we need a social housing program to build safe, green, and affordable homes. Even before COVID, too many San Franciscans faced impossibly high rents.
Time's up, Jennifer. Thank you.
All right, please support the resolution. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have, I think I cannot bring you on. So I'm gonna try to unmute you. I don't know, is the number finishing by 56? Can you try to speak right now? Hello?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. My name is Win Shapilier. Tens of thousands of San Franciscans have been put under federal administrative detention orders pursuant to the 4th Geneva Convention and the war powers of the past 3 presidents. These orders have been used to subject these citizens to involuntary outpatient mental health treatment without meeting civil commitment criteria. These orders appear to have been reviewed by the local superior court, but such reviews have been conducted ex parte and in totally sealed cases, with neither notice to the patient nor the opportunity to be heard, in violation of Protocol 1 of the 4th Geneva Convention. These patients have been denied any political voice, cannot find one another, and are told that their claims of involuntary mental health treatment are delusions and symptoms of mental illness. Anyone who assists in this practice does so in violation of international law and is an enemy of the Constitution as well. Back to you, Madam Clerk.
Thank you. Okay. Next speaker, we have Patricia. Then second, we have Sarah Souza, Jordan Davis, Naili. Patricia? Can you activate your microphone?
There.
Perfect. Go ahead.
Yes. Hi, my name is Patricia Corin and I live in District 8. And I am also calling in support of Member Peter Galata's resolution. And I was very disturbed when I learned of Mayor Breed's refusal to commit to using Prop I funds for the voter intended purposes and for the purposes also that the supervisors endorsed. So that sums it up. I definitely believe we need some social housing because the private sector has not been able to deliver what we need in this city. Thank you for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Sarah Souza. Then we have Jordan Davis and Nayeli Maxon Velasquez.
Good evening, San Francisco Democrats. First, I want to congratulate Chair Campos. Very proud of you. I'm here today to ask for your support of resolution number 8, which will support SB 714, removing systemic barriers to allow dreamers and more than 2.5 million Californians to have a seat at the table. SB 714 removes systemic barriers that keeps immigrant leaders like myself from a seat at the table in the Democratic Party. Farm workers, domestic workers. We actually had a press conference on Monday and we had a strong turnout from the Central Valley. So this is building a momentum statewide for all Democrats and an opportunity for us to organize a more inclusive party and participation. So I hope you can support Member Galata's resolution. I also want to speak in support of number 9. I think it's great that we address the housing needs in San Francisco and that we push forward with more inclusive solutions. Thank you for your commitment and I look forward to supporting your efforts and seeing you at the convention this weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Jordan Davis, then we have Nayeli Maxon Velasquez, then Simone. Jordan? Oh, sorry. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of time. I think you're with us now, Jordan. Jordan, can you unmute yourself?
Sorry about the delay. Like, but I'm David, and I congratulate Campos and put early support in for Honey Mahogany for chair. I feel like this is a big moment for that. I also want to speak in support of Honey Member Mahogany's resolution around self-attestation of gender identity documents. I'm having some trouble with the federal government picking this up just with identity documents. We need transgender people to be able to self-attest their gender and for non-binary people to have a third gender marker. And also I'm speaking in support of item 9, which is Galata's resolution around Prop I funds. It's really moral embezzlement what the is doing. Please make sure that it's funded. We need to make sure that it's funded to the voters' wishes. And I just think it's really gross that the mayor continues to ignore the will of the voters. And I think going forward, we need to re-examine the strong mayor system. So thank you very much. I yield my time.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Nayeli Maxon Velasquez, then we have Simon, and then Mitchell.
Hi.
Hey.
My name is Nayeli Maxon Velasquez. I now live in District 8. I grew up in the Richmond District and District 1. and I'm also a member of DSASF's Eco-Socialist Committee. I'm also calling to support member Peter Galota's resolution calling for Prop I funds to be split between rent relief and social housing. I am an attorney for renters and unhoused people, and I was extremely disappointed that Mayor Breed at the April 13th Board of Supervisors meeting refused to commit using Prop I revenue for the voter intended purposes. Rent relief is urgently needed now as tenants face millions of dollars in rent debt due to the pandemic. If rent relief isn't provided soon, up to 33,000 renters may be unable to pay rent due to lost income. The city estimates that unpaid rent due to the impacts of COVID-19 may be as high as $32.7 million per month, and the emergency rental assistance program is not sufficient. So I strongly urge you all to support Member Peter's resolution calling for these Prop I funds to be split between rent relief and social housing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Simone. Then we have Anastasia, Mitchell, and Hemi.
Hello, my name is Simone Manganelli. I live in District 8, and I am also calling to support member Peter Galota's resolution calling for Prop I funds to be split between rent relief and social housing. As many other commenters before me have already said, the private market has failed to adequately house thousands of San Franciscans. We have thousands of people living on our streets. We have thousands of people who are in danger of being put on the street because of evictions for whatever reason. And the pandemic has just exacerbated that. And we need to build more housing, and it needs to be not for profit. It needs to be public housing, it needs to be social housing. We need to expand the municipal housing program, and it's just exhausting after the past year, constantly asking for these things and not getting them from any of our politicians. So, it was abundantly clear from the Board of Supervisors on down to the voters what Prop I and Prop K meant. They meant for municipal housing pilot program and for this money, Prop I, to go to social housing and for rent relief. And that's what it should go to. So please support that resolution. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Anastasia, then we have Mitchell, Hami, and the last person that I see right now raising his hand is Davida. Anastasia, can you unmute yourself? Anastasia? Okay, I'm gonna keep you with us here, but I'm gonna bring out Mitchell until you have time to figure this out. Mitchell?
I found the mute.
Oh, okay. So let's wait, Mitchell, and Anastasia, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, members of the DCCC. I'm Anastasia Yovanopoulos, member of San Francisco Tenants Union and a District 8 tenant. And I'm urging you to prevent the coming wave of evictions by voting yes on your resolution number 9 on this agenda. There's an estimated 25,000 tenants in San Francisco that haven't been able to pay their full rent. Tenants who can't work and pay rent due to coronavirus will face a mountain of debt. Those who are forced to leave rent-controlled apartments may also face significantly higher debt. We need Prop I funds to prevent this. It will relieve tenants of their debt and keep them secure in their homes. Please join San Francisco's tenant advocacy organizations and vote yes on the resolution, urging the mayor to provide this much needed money to protect tenants. And also the funding to build permanently affordable housing. It's the only real solution to homelessness. The mayor's been trying to commandeer these funds, and please don't let it go against the will of the 2,335,000 San Franciscans who voted yes on Prop I. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Hemi, Duna, then we have Davida, and then I see Jackie.
You still have Mitchell hanging out here.
Oh, Mitchell, sorry, I forgot. Sorry, my bad. Go ahead, Mitchell.
Hi, everybody. I'm Mitchell Omerberg from the Affordable Housing Alliance. Nice to see so many of you that we've worked with recently. If any of you still have an outstanding phone call to me that you want to return, you could still do that. No, I'm just joking, just a joke. I'm calling to support the resolution in favor of the Prop I money going for its intended purposes. We have two big problems in San Francisco, many problems, but two of them are the longstanding inability of the private market to build affordable housing, and also the current problem of people being unable to pay rent. We've told those people they don't have to, they have to pay the rent, but they won't get evicted. And this is where that money is supposed to come from. It was totally clear in the ballot handbook that the money from Prop I was to solve these two problems. And of course, I'm not really telling you guys anything you don't know, because you were #1 signers in the ballot handbook and the proponents argument and the proponents rebuttal argument, along with many of you individually, which we really appreciate. One other point to make is that if we want to raise revenue by raising any kind of tax with the 50% plus one threshold, then we need to do it the way Prop I was done, but we have to keep the promise that was made to the voters. Anything else is
Time's up, Mitchell. Thank you.
Anything else is an unacceptable bait and switch. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mitchell.
Then, Ami, you can go ahead.
Okay, great. Hi, everyone. My name is Ami Duna. I'm a renter and a resident of San Francisco's District 9. This is also my first time joining a Democratic County Central Committee meeting. Like many others, I'm calling to support Member Gulato's resolution, calling for Prop I funds to be split between rent relief and social housing. We have the opportunity, as the voters demanded, as residents of one of the wealthiest cities in the world, to build a society and a city where everyone can live in safe, affordable, and sustainable housing. And it would be an injustice and an abhorrence not to do so. As someone who feels the deep need to act upon climate change and that cities and states should be taking the lead on this, as the federal government is not, I'm especially supportive of the program because of its ability to help address the need for safe, green, and affordable homes. Thank you, and I yield my time.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Davida. Then the last one that I'm seeing is Jackie. So if anyone wants to do a public comment, please raise your hand.
Good evening, members of DCCC. My name is Davida Sotelo Escobedo. I'm the campaign coordinator at Jobs with Justice San Francisco. We're a coalition of local worker centers and unions and community orgs. And I'm speaking in support of the resolution calling the mayor to allocate the Prop I funds. The San Francisco is still very much in crisis right now. Workers that got laid off almost more than a year ago are still without stable incomes. San Franciscans have just fallen deeper and deeper into rent debt by no fault of their own. Just yesterday I was talking to a renter who's $24,000 in rent debt and getting harassed by her corporate landlord and to be forced out of her rent controlled unit. And this is like a crisis that's an affordability crisis that existed prior to COVID. And, working families in this city for years have been seeing more and more of their paychecks diverted just to try to stay living here. And many have been pushed out altogether. And so right now, just the mayor's trying to push this idea that this Prop I money isn't what San Francisco needs right now. And that's just absurd. Like, how many more families are going to have to get pushed out the city before we really act? And here's our opportunity. And voters understood that when they passed Prop I, 58% support. San Franciscans are loud and clear that we need this local emergency fund set aside to support families. San Francisco is loud and clear, and the mayor needs to allocate the money.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Jackie. Then last one, we have Daciano. And then Thomas now. And then Christopher now.
My name is Jackie Barshak, and I live in District 7. I'm a renter. I'm also a member of Democratic Socialists of America. And I'm speaking also in support of the resolution. I'm a renter, and I haven't paid more than 25% of my rent since last October. And if I don't get rent relief, or if if my landlord refuses to apply for rent relief, then I'm going to be subjected to eviction starting July 1st, August, whether it be July or August. So when I voted for Prop I did so with the understanding that the money was going to go for the two intended purposes that I that I read about. I mean, can you fault me for believing what I read? And so for the mayor to pull this, I mean, I really don't know how she's going to use this money and intended purpose. I mean, using it for the general fund, like what does
Jackie, time's up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next speaker, we have Deaciano, then we have Thomas, and the last one, Christopher.
Anyone
Can
else?
you mute yourself?
Luciano?
Go ahead.
Okay, hi, my name is Daciano Das Lamparas. I am a co-chair of the Filipino American Democratic Club in San Francisco. I live here in District 9 for almost 25 years now. I am speaking right now to you all, my dear Democrats, to please vote for the rechartering of our club in San Francisco. Thank you very much and good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, we have Thomas, then Christopher.
Hi, my name is Tomas Evangelista. Can everybody hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Great, thank you so much. I'm actually a resident of Placer County, and I'm just calling in to support SB 714. Even though I'm from outside the county, I live in a very conservative county. I'm a DACA recipient, and I am hoping that we can bring representation to our immigrants in California. And the only way to do that is for ourselves to be on our central committees. And since in our area where we don't have any representation, we feel like the Bay Area and specifically in San Francisco, we're able to get support. So I'm just calling in and to ask to support SB 714. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And last speaker, Christopher Christensen. Go ahead, Christopher.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. Good evening, Chair Campos, DCCC committee, and also hi, Gary. I'm here to support the Prop I resolution. I truly believe that the money should be used for the rent relief and permanent affordable housing. And since I'm the last speaker, I'll be brief. Also, I'd like to support SB 714's resolution. The last Saturday, we just had my union endorsed Senate Bill 714. So please, I urge this committee to please support the Prop I resolution as well as the SB 714 resolution. Thank you very much. My union has endorsed both when Prop I was on the ballot and now SB 714. Thank you so much. Bye.
Thank you. And that was our last speaker.
Thank you very much, Madam Executive Director. We can also thank our intern, Alan Terrones, for doing a great job. Thank you very much. Greatly appreciate your work. And thank you to all the Democrats, the San Francisco Democrats and other Democrats from other parts of the state that came to speak to us. We greatly appreciate your feedback, your input, and it's very critical to us to hear from you. So with that, we will now move on to item number 5, and we're going to begin with officer reports. And if I may, I will begin with the chair report. I once again want to thank our executive director and our interns for all the work that they have been doing since our last meeting. The fact is that the work of the party continues on a daily basis, and Karima is always on top of everything that needs to happen. I do want to report on an item that involves, prior actions by the party. We were notified that at some point in the year 2009 and through the year 2012, I think that before most people actually served on this body, and certainly before any of us were in a leadership position, it appears, though it's not entirely clear, the documentation behind it, that certain fines were issued against the San Francisco Democratic Party at that time. Again, this goes back to 2009 through 2012. After consulting with counsel, and some of these fines can be as much as 10,000, and I think it's a total perhaps about 30,000. But we consulted with our treasurer, our professional treasurer, as well as our legal counsel. It appears that the statute of limitations has run and that we wouldn't be liable for those funds. So we will be sending a letter to the state, essentially, making clear that that's our understanding of how the rules work. And I think it's fair to say that those of us who are now in these roles, it's the first time that we have heard of any of this happening. But we quickly responded to it, and I appreciate all of the time and energy that went into this by Karima Lynch as our executive director, but also Carolina Morales, who spent a lot of time trying to understand the specifics of what happened. And I'm glad that we have been able to get to the bottom of it. But I just wanted to make sure that the committee was informed of this. And it's one of the challenges that actually we have with the way the state operates, is that there are actually a number of people that aren't on that list, including many central committees. And I guess notice may have gone out at some point many, many years ago, but there hasn't been followed up notice after that. And so, to the state, if they really want compliance, they really need to maintain the individuals involved, and in this case, the Democratic Party central committees, informed of what actually happened. So with that, I will now turn to the more personal piece, which is that as some of you know, I ran for to be an officer of the California Democratic Party, to be one of the vice chairs. And I'm very grateful for the tremendous support that we received, not only from this body in San Francisco, but throughout the state of California. And as many of you probably know, I was elected as the vice chair of the California Democratic Party, and I'm very honored to serve in that role. And I have to say that on a personal note, as someone who came here as an undocumented kid, there is something really incredible to be able to say that I am in this role for the party of the state of California. And I am especially proud of coming into this role having been the chair of San Francisco, because to me, in many respects, as much as LA and other parts of the state may say this, I think that San Francisco is a key player in the state party. And I'm proud that in this role, I can continue to represent our San Francisco values, because they are at the core democratic values, diversity, inclusion, and all of the other things that make San Francisco so unique. And so with that, when I ran, I made the commitment that to spend the time that I needed to do the job, that I would step down from my role as chair of this party. I will not step down from my seat. I want to continue to be helpful as a member of this body until folks decide that I'm no longer useful. But I do want to continue to help in any way that I can. But I think that it's appropriate in time for me to step down in my role as chair. And so I officially, I think, become vice chair Sunday of this coming weekend during the convention. And I will be resigning as chair, pending the election of the new chair, so that at least during that time I can help Karima do the work. So I just wanted to note that on a personal note. Being chair of the San Francisco Democratic Party has been a tremendous honor. It has been an incredible opportunity. I have learned so much from each of you, quite frankly, and I am very proud of the people that we brought to this party. And one of the things that I have tried to do, besides being very operational and making sure that we run campaigns, that we elect people, and I'm proud that we, over the last 4 years during my term as chair, we have helped to elect so many Democrats, and we have a progressive supermajority on the Board of Supervisors and so many other people. But one thing that I am really proud of is that I have tried to bring into the picture members of communities that have not been represented. And so I will end with this, that it was important for me to think about the transition. And ultimately, it is up to you and all of us collectively as a body to figure out who succeeds me as chair. But the one person that has so far stepped out and who I think would make an incredible chair, and who I'm proud to support as the next chair, the selection of this individual in many respects speaks to who we are and our values. And that is part of, I hope, my legacy, that I can hand the baton, if you will, to someone who will take the party to new heights and will represent a community that hasn't been represented. And that's Honey Mahogany as one of our vice chairs. And if we are wise enough to elect her, she will become the first trans Black woman to be elected. And I think that speaks highly of who we are, what we're about. And so I'm not going away. I'm simply not going to play the role of chair. And with that, I know that there are some people who may want to speak, and I will turn it over to Member Duffy.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you, colleagues of the Democratic County Central Committee. It was important for me to say a few words tonight because I've known David for close to 20 years, and I hold him in such high regard. And I think one of the most important things, I think, in politics and elective office is that money should not be the determining factor in who wins races. And I'm really proud of the array of elected officials who have been minted through the work of our party chair, and that he's given people the opportunity to compete on a fair basis, no matter what the money says. And I think that that's fundamentally important for San Francisco. I think that the relationship that David has forged with Speaker Nancy Pelosi is truly fantastic. The work that was done to bring back a Democratic House of Representatives could not have happened without the partnership. And I know how deeply Speaker Pelosi appreciates Chair Campos and the work that he has contributed. And David, I just think that your integrity and your energy and your willingness as, it ain't easy raising money as a progressive. I can tell you, I guess I've been a zebra and a giraffe, and I can tell you that it's not easy to go out there when the interests want commitments and things that really don't reflect what our community wants. And so I think that David has done a fantastic job. I know that tonight is bittersweet for him to move on into this important role that so many of us feel is such a great place for David to go and to let people throughout California see all the fantastic qualities he has and to help us have a stronger Democratic Party. But I don't think that there's anyone within our body that David would be as excited as he is to see Honey Mahogany step into this role. And of course, she has my support, and we will have an election that will be set up, fairly quickly. But I am so excited to see someone from my community that I have seen as a performer, as I've seen as a community activist, as I've seen as a chief legislative aide. And I think that Honey brings so much talent and integrity and energy. And I think that what she's seen over her service on the Democratic County Central Committee, she knows what needs to get done. And I am so excited to support her, not only with my vote, but with my actions and my efforts going forward with the party. So I apologize that I'm in Palm Springs. I'm in shorts. I'm having a great evening, and some of you are welcome to hate me, but I did not want to miss the opportunity to express some love to both David and Honey and say what a proud night this is for the Democratic County Central Committee of San Francisco. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Duffy. Enjoy Palm Springs, and we are all jealous of you. Any other comments or questions? Yes, Supervisor Mandelman.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Campos. And I also want to echo Bevan's thanks and congratulations to you. I think I am the second longest serving member of this body. And I have seen many chairs, and it is a thankless job. And you have done a great job of it. And so we should all be grateful for that. And of course, are now excited to see you step into this new role with a much vaster platform and purview. But I also want to echo Bevan's enthusiasm about Honey Mahogany. Representation matters. I think it has been important and meaningful for this body to be led by someone who came to this country as an undocumented immigrant and went on to earn degrees from Harvard and Stanford and serve the city and the party. And I think it is important that San Francisco's Democratic Party be led by someone from the trans community, someone absolutely fabulous, and someone who I think is going to make our party. Sorry, David. I think Honey's actually going to make our party more exciting and actually get the kids excited. So I'm excited to see what. Not that you're not, but I think Honey may be able to take us to a new level. So I'm excited for that.
There is no comparison, no competition there. That's not even close. So absolutely. Anyone else want to say anything? Comments, questions? Well, thank you all. And Keith Baraka?
Yeah. Yes. Chair Campos, I too would like to thank you for all of your hard work. We all know this isn't easy. I'm not one for a lot of words or bloviating, but I will say that it's been such an enormous pleasure working with you as chair. I'm glad you're not going away. We still need you. We still need your expertise. And I am so glad that we have Honey willing to step into this role as chair of our party. I too believe that it's important to have representation, and having a trans woman represent the San Francisco Democratic Party is magnificent, but that's not the only thing. I think that Honey, as a fellow social justice Dem, I was able to witness with my own eyes her hard work for the party. She's also been willing to take up positions that might not be perceived as popular by a lot of folks. So I think that's also very important. And I also believe that she's going to be able to articulate the needs and the desires of our local party. And, you have to be in tune for that. And I think Honey has done a great job. And as I said, she has shown that she can do this job, that she's smart, hip, which is also important. I think that that is something that folks don't often think about, but I think that we have to be able to connect to the younger generations. And I think that that's so very important. So I'm enthusiastically supporting Honey. And David, I'm wishing you well, but we're going to be working together. So it's not goodbyes until later. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair, and turn it over to another one of our Vice Chairs, Vice Chair Galata.
Thanks, Chair Campos, and hi, colleagues. I just, what a historic night for us in so many ways. I mean, just when we started the meeting tonight, the fact that Speaker Pelosi and Vice President Harris are on the dais, San Francisco Democrats representing us at the highest level of our country, and then to be celebrating, David, your win. To be representing us as San Francisco Democrats at the California Democratic Party level, to have a seat at that table, to have San Francisco represented, to have a progressive voice at the table for our state party, and all of the work that we need to do across the state that I know you will continue to do because you've done it here, and bringing us together and organizing us and mobilizing us. And you taking that to the next level. I am so thrilled, proud. Thank you for running. Thank you for stepping up. I know it's not easy. And we all know San Francisco politics isn't easy, and I can't imagine at the state level, at the state party, what you're getting into. So we're here for you. We've got your back. I know you'll lean on us, and let's continue to work together and bring San Francisco values to the state party level. I think that's the next game. And just then also to tonight to hear, Honey, that she's stepping up to run as chair, and for her leadership of this party is really historic and powerful. And as a former Harvey Milk Club president, I'm all about seeing and lifting up our Harvey Milk Club presidents to new roles and leadership in our city. And I couldn't be more proud of Honey to see your leadership over the years, the work that you have done. I feel like on every stage I've seen you on, you shine, and you have brought so many people together and in the spaces that you have been in, and you have reached communities that have not been reached by the San Francisco Democratic Party or traditional politics in our city. And that is powerful, and your voice is powerful. And I am excited to see you step into this role, and look forward to continuing to support you and the party. And we are strong right now. I am feeling the strength, and I'm feeling a lot of pride for our party and what we are demonstrating, and proud as an ally to be supporting you. And for the queer, trans, Black community, this is a huge moment for the city. So I look forward to what's next.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. We're going to go to our corresponding secretary, Anabel Ibanez.
Thank you, Chair Campos. Just want to say that I have really respected and continue to admire you for the leadership that you have provided here in San Francisco, not just as the chair of the Democratic Party, but as a leader in our community. You have really brought the community together. When you talk about the values that you have, which is diversity and inclusivity, you really are that person. And you, in everything you do, we know you've done. You talk the talk and you walk the walk. And for that, I do want to say that I'm really thankful for that. And I also want to say and acknowledge that with your leadership, we have definitely moved San Francisco to become a very progressive city, to ensure that it meets the needs of our families. We have a lot of work to do, but we have to ensure that we continue electing members of this community that really understand the needs of working families. And many times it's not easy. And I'm also really excited about Member Mahogany's stepping up, and hopefully she'll become our chair. I have worked with her in the few years that I've worked with her. I've also have learned a lot, and I really appreciate her leadership. And I just want to say much respect, and once again, congratulations.
Thank you. We're going to go to Member Weiner, his proxy.
Thank you, Chair Campos, and congratulations on your resounding victory at the state party. Honey, I wanted to provide a statement on behalf of Senator Weiner. He will be supporting you as chair. He believes you've done strong work in the community, and that with all of the political attacks on trans kids around the country and the violence against trans women of color, electing a Black trans woman as chair will send a profoundly powerful message, and he's happy to support you.
Thank you, Senator Weiner. We'll now go to our treasurer, Treasurer Morales.
Well, congratulations again, David. I feel like I'm constantly singing your praises. I will not take too much time doing that. It's pretty clear that I admire you so much as a queer immigrant myself, and just excited to see all that you can do for the state at the state level. And with that, I am also really excited about the possibility of Chair Mahogany, as the person before me mentioned. You know, it's been really, really devastating and scary to see the attacks on transgender people, not only across the country, but in our own state of California, where we, you know, like to think that we're so progressive and that we're ahead of so many issues. And it is important to say loud and clear that trans folks belong, that trans folks are people, are part of our community. And what better way than to have a leader such as Honey Mahogany, who grew up in San Francisco, who's a Black leader with a demonstrated track record of service, right? Not only to the party or to electoral politics, but actual service in the community, helping folks and giving like vital support to our most marginalized peoples. And so I am excited about that, and I'm hoping for that future in the San Francisco Democratic Party. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll go to Member Marr through his proxy, Edward Wright. Unmute yourself.
Sorry, I dialed in. Spotty. Thank you so much, Chair Campos. On behalf of Member Marr and also on behalf of myself, just wanted to extend really sincere congratulations. Thank you for stepping up. Thank you for running. Just looking at your track record and everything that you've accomplished for the San Francisco Democratic Party for the last 4 years, if you can bring that level of accomplishment to the California Democratic Party, I think the entire state will benefit for that. So thank you for stepping up to lead, and congratulations. And to Member Mahogany, thank you also for stepping up to lead. On a personal note, I've known you for a long time and long admired your leadership in so many different venues, borrowing from Vice Chair Gullotta as a current co-president of the Harvey Milk Club. Really, really exciting to see you step up and to step forward into this potential new role. And also want to highlight that the importance of not only elevating Black and trans leadership in the Democratic Party, but also elevating your leadership as a person and everything that you have accomplished as a person in so many different venues, in so many different capacities, on behalf of the progressive movement, on behalf of many, many, many communities. So congratulations to you as well. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We're going to go now to Assembly Member Ting, his proxy.
Great, thanks so much. And I'll be brief, but I just want to say again, congratulations, as I've said before privately. So I'm looking forward to working with you on the state party. My boss and I were very proud to support you. And we've seen just how you can work with all kinds of people. So looking forward to working with a very big and diverse state party. So just on a personal note, I think I've known you now for over a decade now. Time flies, and I really appreciate your mentorship and your always being there for us queer politicos here in San Francisco. And I really appreciate you taking that leadership to the state level for queer people, for immigrants, et cetera, et cetera. And then to Honey, I want to say, we're proud to support you for this role you're stepping into, and thank you for taking it on. I've knowing you since you were on a certain TV show back in the day, that to see you grow into your leadership with the cultural district and with everything that you've done, and to step into this role now to rise to be chair, I'm just so proud and can't wait to work with you.
I'm gonna now go to Member Haney through his proxy, who is a colleague of Vice Chair Mahogany. Hanzo.
Thank you, Chair Campos. I just wanted to say a few words, not on behalf of Supervisor Haney, but for myself. Just wanted to congratulate you on your win. I think, I've had a chance to work so closely with you. I think there's many of us on this call who you mentored, and we're here because of your leadership, your willingness to bring new folks and young folks into San Francisco politics. And I think the California Democratic Party is gaining a wonderful leader, somebody who works harder than anybody I know, maybe except for Honey. I still remember when I worked with you, at 7 in the morning, you were making calls, and then you're going to a demanding job, and then you were back working for the party. And I think that shows the type of character that you have and the work ethic. And I'm so proud to see you there. And as for Member Mahogany, obviously I now get to work with Honey every day. And I don't think I've seen anybody who deals with the work and all of the things that you have to deal with in that role and with such grace, and continues to be such a calming presence. And for her to now take this role on, I am humbled by your ability, Honey, to do all of this work and still be so active in the community outside of your work. So I'm excited for you to be the next chair, and I look forward to working with you in that capacity as well.
Member Vice Chair Lovett.
So I first got to know David a bit more when I interviewed you for AFT 2121 back in early 2014. And I was astounded by your story, going from being an undocumented teenager, growing up in South Central LA, and then going through school, going to Harvard Law School. I mean, what a trajectory. But all along this way and to this point, you have never forgotten the people around you, and you have always centered the most marginalized populations and people who need the Democratic Party and who need, government to support their essential needs, and that's what you have always put at the front. And so I have every confidence that you will lead the California Democratic Party and really bring the state to a better place. Because it's easy to say that we're a blue state, but if you travel around, and I've been to the Central Valley to learn what happens in the agricultural communities. I've seen the homelessness in Los Angeles, and similar to what we see in San Francisco and some of the urban areas. And these are the people we're going to lift up, right? And so thank you for continuing this work in a broader scale. And then, Honey, I have every confidence that you are going to lead the San Francisco Democratic Party well. And I feel like, we often talk about, building bridges and being allies. And I think it's more than that. I think in our work, I feel this kinship with people who really, put the needs of, folks who have suffered and, folks who need a leg up and folks who just need more than just to survive, in this very difficult time that we're going through. And so I think you're going to carry on that mission of the San Francisco Democratic Party.
And we are taking member Barry's word that that's dues in her pretty glass. We'll now turn to member Thomas.
Thank you, Chair Campos. At the risk of being redundant with my fellow members in the comments they've made, I just want to highlight and thank Chair Campos for his service to the party. It predates my time on here, but also just predates our current term, holding together a really diverse, strong-minded slate of candidates and winning overwhelmingly, and then holding together the party afterwards. San Francisco is known for having really strong-willed Democrats who have a lot of diversity in their opinions on every nuanced issue. And he's been able to lead in that environment. So I have absolute faith that he's going to succeed doing that at a larger scale on the statewide office, where we're going to see a lot of more diversity that needs to be managed in a trying year. Additionally, I wanted to just highlight Honey Mahogany's merits. I'm excited to support Honey for this position. A lot of people have brought up how representation matters for this, but I want to also highlight the work that Honey has put in with this party, with the local party in our time together. Anytime I've picked up the phone and called Honey and asked for assistance with fundraising or any other work that needs to be done, Honey is not just volunteering, but going out of their way to try and find ways to facilitate and help. So this is an unpaid job that's got to be done on lunch breaks and dinner hours. And there's only one person I can think of who's willing to put in all of that unpaid time and would be incredibly effective at it. So I'm excited to support Honey for this job.
We'll now turn it to someone who is a lot more fabulous, a lot more stylish and hip than I can ever be, Vice Chair and hopefully future Chair Honey Mahogany.
Well, I am, this is has been actually a very humbling experience, but I want to first start by saying, Chair Campos, thank you so much for all that you have done for San Francisco and the party, but also all that you've done for me personally. I mean, I think that you truly embody someone who is a trailblazer in your own right, and who really embodies transformational leadership. When you brought me into the DCCC, yes, you made history, but more importantly, I think you were empowering a community that has traditionally been left out of the Democratic Party, or who hasn't always felt home in the Democratic Party, or didn't even know how to access the Democratic Party. So I've learned a lot under your wing through your leadership, and I've also been able to luckily develop my own leadership here at the SFDCCC, and I'm really grateful that you provided that opportunity. I can't wait personally to see what you do with the state party, because you've done so much here. You've led us through so many wins in San Francisco, and that has led to wins across the country. So I can only imagine what you're going to do as vice chair of the state party. It's really exciting. And to all of my colleagues who voiced their support for my candidacy for chair, thank you so much. I do not take it lightly. I am hoping that, I know I announced sort of unofficially earlier this week, and I'm really hoping to continue to have conversations with everyone so that this can be, something that we all feel good about and that we come together on. And I want to continue to build those bridges and continue in David's footsteps in bringing more people into this party, because there's plenty of room, and I think it's our job to make sure that people know that. So thank you.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. And the one thing that you have done among so many other things is really bringing people together, and that's not easy to do. So to everyone who's watching, there will be an election for the next chair at the next meeting. So we will agendize that, and all I can say is that we're going to bring I'm going to try to bring a little bit of San Francisco flavor to the state party, add a little bit of a queer flavor, Latin flavor, immigrant flavor, people of color flavor, all of that. So stay tuned. We'll now move on to the next officer report. And that is from our Vice Chair for Outreach, Vice Chair Lacroix.
Hi, everybody. So I knew that there was going to be a lot of folks who had stuff to say, so I just wanted to give everyone space and utilize my time here. So I just wanted to first congratulate you, Chair Campos, on winning your first vice chair race for the state Democratic Party. I think this is a wonderful opportunity to, like you said, bring the San Francisco flavor to the state level discussions. And so I really look forward to seeing what you're going to do there. So best of luck. But we're also still excited to have you here as a member. So yes, congratulations. And to your point of suggesting someone who you'd like to see as chair, I am very excited that Honey has stepped forward to signify that she's interested in taking on the role of being chair. I think that it is not an easy job at all, and anyone who's willing to kind of come forward and be willing to put in that work should definitely receive kudos. And so, Honey, I think that you would be a great chair, and so I look forward to supporting you as your first vice chair and building something really beautiful together as two Black people leading the San Francisco Democratic Party, and also kind of stepping into this like larger discussion around like having Black SF natives in room 200, leading the Board of Supervisors, and then also leading the SFDCCC. I think this is a really great time to uplift and support young people, young Black people, and young Black women. So just wanted to take a moment to say that. So best of luck. But with all of that said, on to the report. So we have a fundraiser coming up, and I know that other members are going to be talking about different aspects of the fundraiser, but I do want to make sure that everybody knows that it's on their calendar, that they purchased their tickets, that they're sharing it to all their friends and family and cousins and nieces and nephews so they can buy their tickets and they can help us fundraise money, because we have a lot of work ahead. So if you haven't shared it on your social media platforms, please do. If you haven't bought your ticket yet, please do. And in addition to that, we are also planning a event to happen after the fundraiser, which is trivia night. And so right now I would love anyone's support with helping generate questions for trivia night. I think it's going to be really fun. We have things like categories like current events, SF political figures, memorable moments at the Board of Supervisors, and popular or polarizing policies that were being considered in San Francisco. And so if any of those things kind of like spark your interest and you have some really fun facts that you want to include into our trivia night discussion, please reach out. Please let me know, because the more people who can contribute, I think the more fun and robust of a discussion and trivia night this is going to be. So also, we would love to maybe provide prizes to the winning participant group for trivia night. So if you have any ideas or connections or suggestions, definitely reach out, definitely let me know, because I think, again, the more support and the more that we have things available to folks to draw people in, the better. But yeah, we're looking forward to kind of announcing more about trivia night after the fundraiser, but fundraiser is priority. Make sure you get the word out, make sure you buy your tickets, fundraiser first, and then trivia night. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Vice Chair Lacroix. We'll now turn to voter registration and go to Vice Chair Baraka.
Hello, everyone. I will try to make this brief tonight. I have two items that I wanted to bring to your attention. The first being, of course, the voter registration project I've been talking about ad nauseum. And I would like to say that I do have a verbal commitment to help fund our voter registration project, which is great. I'll wait until I get written confirmation on that before I announce who has so generously contributed. But we are moving along in the process. I am talking with Adam Miller, and we're discussing in a time that I could learn from him the best way to execute this, or in other words, he's going to train me on how this will be executed in the field. It will be a canvassing effort where we're actually knocking on doors. So that to me is very exciting. if you would like to be a part of this, please get in contact with me. I think I've given my number out many times. And other than the current voter registration group of myself, member Tung, and our executive director, Karima, I really haven't heard any interest, but I do plan on sending out some invitations soon. But if you'd like to get to me before I send out those invitations, please feel free to reach out to me. I am really committed to this effort, and I'm glad it is getting off the ground, especially now that some of our COVID restrictions are being lifted. I knocked on doors when we were officially in shelter in place for a certain candidate. So I'm sure we can come up with a way to make sure that we can do this project safely. The second item I wanted to mention, I too am on the fundraising committee, and my part in communicating to you about this project is that we would like all the members to either give or get $500 to support this effort. I think that if you make a call to your, as Vice Chair Lacroix mentioned, friends, family, associates, Facebook friends, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever, get the word out, get folks to commit a sponsorship or participation in this event. $500 is, I don't think, asking too much for the work that we need to get done here in our party. So if you could please make sure that you get the word out and commit to a $500 commitment, that would be amazing. That is all.
Thank you, Vice Chair Paraka. We'll now go to club chartering. And I know that we have one club that we're asking for rechartering. So Vice Chair Mahogany.
Thank you so much, Chair Campos. We do, in fact, have one club that is up for chartering tonight. I am super proud because the Filipino community, as everyone knows, has an extremely important history here in San Francisco with strong ties to the labor movement here in California, as well as specifically to the South of Market area here in San Francisco, where we have Soma Pilipinas, the Filipino Cultural District, which is celebrating its birthday tomorrow, actually. So this is perfect timing to recharter the Filipino American Democratic Club. So I hope we can all support this rechartering and look forward to continuing to work with this club in the years to come.
So colleagues, we have a motion by Vice Chair Mahogany to recharter the Filipino American Democratic Club of San Francisco. Is there a second? We have a second by Vice Chair Lacroix. Are there any questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? It's unanimous. Thank you very much. Congratulations, Filipino American Democratic Club of San Francisco. You are rechartered. Vice Chair Mahogany, anything else?
That is the end of my report.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice Chair, and appreciate your work.
I'm sorry. I think I'm supposed to, there's one thing I would like to say is chime in with my colleagues who have been working we have all been working so hard in our fundraiser. It's going to be absolutely fabulous. I will be getting in full drag and I will be hosting the event with Tom Amiano. And for those of you who don't know Tom Amiano, well, everyone knows Tom Amiano, but let me tell you, not only is he a comedian, but he's actually funny. So it's going to be a really great event. We're going to talk about his book. And there are lots of really cool little packages that folks can buy. In fact, I believe getting a VIP ticket gets you a free copy of his book if you don't have it already. So it's a super sweet deal. And yes, I just want to reaffirm that we are expecting DCCC members to all get to $500, whether you contribute directly or get other folks to buy tickets, because let me tell you, as a member of the Alice B. Toklas Democratic Club, the executive board members are expected to pay $600 for a ticket to their annual fundraiser. So if Alice Mitoklis can do that, then surely the San Francisco Democratic Party can expect its members to contribute $500 towards a fundraiser. So thank you, Chair Campos. Sorry to interrupt, and I yield my time.
Just imagine that combination of Honey Mahogany and Tom Amiano. If this was like on TV, the censors would be like, you know, going wild. So it's to not be missed. We'll now go to issues and resolutions. Vice Chair Lovett.
Well, I have two reports and I can't top that. One is about our 2021 internships. So it's the Sue Bierman Memorial High School Internship and Nancy Pelosi College Fellowship Program. We're really excited that this is underway, and you can let all your Democratic clubs and folks know that this is, the applications are open until Sunday, May 9th at 11:59 p.m. So get it in before 11:59 p.m. This is going to have a start date of June 14th and run through August 13th. The college students get a $400 stipend each month, and for high school, it's $200 a month. And so the time commitment is about 10 to 15 hours a week. We've had some interns who have had summer classes and they've managed to juggle it. They are amazing. In fact, they're so amazing that I will say for the second part of the report that one goal I had last year in joining the DCCC was to ensure that there was a process for all of our adopted resolutions to go to the the entities, the electeds and the groups around the state and the country that are supposed to see these. We've had a process where interns have helped us to work on a contact spreadsheet. I wish I could do screen share. I would probably bore you, but let me just say that when Jason Park, our current intern, took this on, he just knocked it. I don't mean this for this to be, he knocked it out of the park. I mean, no kidding. Like his, we have local, state, federal, and also regional KDEM lists. And he put stuff on here that I didn't even know about. That, there is this BART, Independent Office of the Inspector General. I guess, Janice, you probably know about that. And of course, Babin. But the state contacts were really built out. And I think that is so critical. Of course, we have our esteemed ex officios from around the state. So we have your names on here. But more importantly, we really have fleshed out a very current list for the leadership for all these critical committees in both state legislature bodies. So thank you, Jason Park. And this is really important because all these resolutions that we pass find their way to their destination because of this work. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Lovett. We'll now go to partnerships and to Vice Chair Galata.
Thanks, Chair Campos. So yeah, I'm going to be part of the choir tonight and be talking about our upcoming fundraiser, which is called Let's Get Loud. And it is on, just as a reminder, Thursday, May 13th at 6:30 p.m. And so if we're going to actually get loud, we need people in this Zoom room with us. And so I'm going to make another pitch. We've talked about your help getting the word out, but I'm going to actually give you a few action items for how you can help us get the word out. So a couple things. We officially launched our promotions for the event a couple weeks ago. We've got ads running on Facebook and Instagram. We sent out our newsletter on Monday. Hopefully you saw it. It should be in your inbox. We've shared the info out with the charter clubs. We're working every angle we have, but we need your help to work your channels and your networks. So the three things you can do: one, forward the email that we sent on Monday, and I can resend it to you all, but forward it, send it to the first 10 people you think of, just start that email, drop in those email addresses, send it out. It has all the details and info. It speaks for itself, really easy. Second thing you can do, visit our website, sfdemocrats.org. The event info is right on the homepage. You just have to click on the link. It'll take you to the event page. Also has all the info about ticket prices, date, time, place, everything. Just copy that link, text it to the first 5 people you think of. Social media, if it's not on social media, it didn't happen. So we need you to actually post on social media to help us get the word out. We're pushing it out on our channels. So this might actually be the easiest ask for most of you, because you actually don't really need to do anything but click the share button on Facebook or on Twitter or Instagram. There's posts that are up already with info about the event. Just click share. You can also put out your own your own content, your own message. We'd love that as well. I've seen some members share. I think Member Barry, I know Chair Campos has shared, Vice Chair Lacroix. Thank you. I'm going to do it right now. So join me. Let's share. Help us get the word out. Let us know if you need help. If you need invitation copy, you need graphics, whatever you need, we can help you. And let's turn folks out. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much for all the amazing work that's gone into this. And I know someone else has been doing a lot of work, is our treasurer. So Treasurer Morales.
Good evening, everybody, again. So here we go with our financial report, and thank you, Chair Campos, for updating all members about the wonderful $30,000 issue. It wasn't stressful at all to find out about that. Great. So on better news, in terms of our state committee cash on hand in the bank, we have $9,000, and our federal committee account has $7,900. So, you know, it's a good amount, but we need more money to be able to cover all of the amazing work that the team of folks that receive, well, the one person that receives a salary and the folks that receive a stipend, you know, to support their labor. So thank you for all of the fundraising that folks are doing.
Thank you, Madam Treasurer. And just open it up to any of our committees if there are any reports. If not, we'll just go on to our Executive Director. Executive Director
Chair Campos.
Oh, yes, I'm sorry.
Chair Campos.
Yes.
On the
oh, yes.
some reports from
yes.
Thank you, Chair Campos. So both the fundraising committee and the spring fundraiser planning committee have met over our last month. As everybody knows, you know, Chair Campos had a lot of double duty campaigning over the recent time, and so fundraising never stops for the party. And I want to acknowledge the contributions and efforts of Supervisors Ronan and Haney, who really stepped up in that void and started making calls and raised money to keep the lights on for the party. And want to make sure and highlight their efforts. So thank you very much, Supervisors Ronan and Haney. Additionally, I want to highlight the efforts of the members of the Spring Fundraiser Committee that have volunteered to work. So obviously our host, Honey Mahogany, Keith Baraka, Peter Galata, Kathleen from Diane Feinstein's team has done a tremendous amount of work. Leah Lacroix, and then Karima and Jason, our intern as well, have just done so much work in planning and working on this committee and meeting routinely, trying to find times where we can meet, or if you can't meet, catching up on the work that needs to be done. But as everybody's mentioned, this is an all hands on deck effort. We're going to be having probably the last big Zoom event, hopefully, of our lives. We can go back to in-person stuff, hopefully, fingers crossed. But on May 13th, we're going to need everybody involved either in the lead up and planning or during the day itself. So please don't wait for us to call you, to ask you to be a volunteer. Reach out to myself, reach out to Karima, any of the folks that mentioned, because we have a role for you. If you're ready to volunteer, we need your help on this. As was mentioned by several of our members earlier, there is an expectation to raise money through this event, and our members and their proxies, we're really relying on folks here to be leaders in that effort. And I know that many folks here, you know, we're expecting, you know, buy that VIP ticket, and we'll kind of go over those ticket tiers in a second, but also as Member Mahogany mentioned, an expectation of $500 contribution is what we're looking at from everybody. And if you can't do that, if the financial means aren't there, we know not all our members are wealthy, and we're actually proud that not all of our members can afford, high expenses. That shows the diversity of our party. Then let's get you plugged in a volunteer capacity, because you're here because you're an organizer and you know people that need to be plugged into this. So we have opportunities for folks who can't afford to attend, but we need to organize those folks, and we need to bring them into the fold, so all the voices are there. So that means reaching out to us so we can put you to work. So please reach out. And with this, we'll jump into the website that was designed. So Karima's going to share her screen, so it might remove the faces. And so if you haven't had a chance yet to look at it, this is the graphics package that was put up by Jason, our intern. It's awesome. First of all, thanks so much. Good work and all being done on a volunteer basis. One of the cool things that distinguishes this event is that it's almost entirely being done by volunteers. So the upfront expenses are minimal. But if we're looking at the ticket levels here, the individual tickets, we're trying to work with sponsors now so that individual tickets can be paid for by the sponsorship, so that individuals who can't afford to go will be able to have an individual ticket. The friend level includes a copy of Tom Amiano's book, and we're working on increasing supply to make sure that we can meet demand on that. The VIP ticket includes an additional pre-event Zoom event with Chair Campos and Tom Amiano, and that's what we're expecting everybody to come in at to start. And then I want to highlight the VIP Plus, where we've had several Democratic leaders who've agreed to meet with some constituents for a coffee meeting. So District Attorney Chesapeake, our own Mano Raju, President Shaman Walton, and Chair Campos have all agreed to participate as coffee meetings with folks who contribute at the 250 level. So get those while they're hot. I believe actually Chair Campos is already sold out, so we're not that one's not available anymore. For those who are in connection with organized labor or other institutions that are willing to sponsor, we have various sponsorship tiers here that are available. These include packages of tickets, books, and other components that could be a great resource for either a Democratic club or organized labor union or another, or maybe a small business or something that's nearby. So please feel free to consult those. We have standard letterhead forms that are ready to go out to those organizations. So if you have somebody in mind, let us know. And then we have a breakdown of our special guest, Tom Amiano, and our host, Honey Mahogany. That kind of gets us linked into the book and some of the other details if folks want to jump into to purchase tickets. And that is the update we have on the Spring Fundraiser website.
Member Barry had a question, I believe.
Not really a question, I just wanted to advise the members of the public, if the first person who contact me, I'll be willing to sponsor a ticket, one ticket to this event for someone that could use the ticket.
Thank you. And Vice Chair Mahogany, do you have a comment or question?
Yes, similarly, I think some of us had discussed, and if there are other members who feel as though they want to feel like they can give a little bit of extra, that we'd be willing to subsidize folks' tickets. So I'm also willing to put, pay for four individual tickets if there are people in need.
Thank you very much. And if you have an issue paying but want to attend the event, please contact our executive director. And I do want to note, I want to acknowledge the chair, one of the co-chairs of the Finance Committee, Member Thomas, who has put in a lot of time and energy. So thank you, Member Thomas. I know that you've done a lot of work on this, so it's greatly appreciated. And I will put in a plug, for, a special meeting with the DA or the public defender. It's not usual that you get to talk to the DA or the public defender unless you're in trouble. So the fact that you can do that is pretty good. And I also want to acknowledge the amazing work of, that our proxies do. And, Kathleen McDonough is an example. I mean, she has been doing this for years. You know, she saved with Hanzo our big dinner, and you know, she's always stepping up. So it's greatly appreciated. Thank you, everyone, and let's make it a great success. So it's coming up May 13th. Now to our executive director, Karima Lynch.
Thank you, Chair Campos. First, I just want to congratulate you again, Chair Campos, as someone who worked closely with you. I can say that it was an honor. You told me so much and you trusted me with so many cases regarding the DCCC, and for that, I want to say thank you very much. I hope I didn't disappoint you. That's all I hope. And of course, I'm really excited to work closely with Vice Chair Mahogany and hopefully like future chair. I'm excited and proud to work with you in the future and to be part of this new chapter in the DCCC. So thank you. And about my report, I need to echo again what Member Lacroix, Member Galioda, Member Mahogany, Thomas said about the fundraising event. Get your ticket. I can only say that. And I want to also thank Jason and Emmanuel, who did an amazing job. The graphics looks amazing, and it's thanks to them. So I want to say thank you for that. And also, if you have any question about how to share it on social media, about our ad on social media, don't hesitate to contact me. Gloria, Member Barry, please, if you want to sponsor someone, we can help you with that. So yes, and don't forget, I send you all a Google invite May 13 at 6:30 p.m. Also, I want to echo what Member Lovett said about the internship program. I can't wait to recruit our new interns. As you know, last year they were really involved in our endorsement process, in both Blue SF, in the process of chartered all our clubs. So again, it helps a lot when you share the word that we're looking for interns. And I can wait to work with Member Lee, Member Daraka, and Member Williams to recruit new interns for 2021. And just one more thing, tomorrow we have a first day for convention, and I know it can be overwhelming with all those caucuses, the standing committees, but there is a lot, especially at the beginning of the day, meeting where you can get trained as new delegates because you're a new body, newly elected back in March 2020, and many of you didn't access the convention as a delegate. So for those who are confused or want to learn more, there is many meetings, training around what is happening in the convention and what is the convention, etc. So don't hesitate to call me. Don't hesitate to call Annie Kelly. The convention is 4 days. So Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I know we're all working, but if you have time to jump in the standing committee or a caucuses, that will be great. And that's it.
Thank you, Madam Executive Director. And as always, I do want to say that it's been a pleasure to work with you. I've always said, you know, I've had the pleasure of working with some pretty incredible executive directors as chair of the party. You know, of course, Adam, Han, and Karima, you really stepped up to the plate from the very beginning. And have just done an amazing job and very detail oriented and very thorough. I still don't understand sometimes when I get the messages in French from you, the emails in French, but I think I took enough French to understand it. But fabulous job. And again, a first Muslim executive director of our Democratic Party. Very proud of that. So let's give Karima a big hand, please. She deserves it. She really is always working. I don't see Henny Kelly on the chat, so we're not going to have a report from her, but we do congratulate her on her overwhelming re-election as regional director. Is well deserved. So congratulations, Henny Kelly. We'll now move on to resolutions, and we'll go on to item 6 on the agenda, which is a resolution by Member Barry, and I am proud to be added as a co-sponsor. Resolution supporting the Corporate Free Elections Act, Assembly Bill number 20, AB 20, which was authored by Assembly members Alex Lee and Ash Kalra, and co-authored by Senator Ben Allen and Assembly member Kevin McCarthy, to prohibit a candidate for elective office in California from receiving a contribution from a business entity and a business entity from making a contribution to a candidate for elective office. Member Barry, thank you for bringing this forward.
Thank you, Chair Campos and future Vice Chair of the State Democratic Party, Campos. First, I'd like to give a shout out to the interns just because they're just amazing. Okay, AB 20, the Corporate Election Act, authored by Alex Lee and Ash Kalra, whom I had the pleasure of meeting at Member Haney's recent birthday party. As of March 2nd, this bill is sitting in the Committee of Elections. Companies donate millions to political causes to have a say in the government. Since the Citizens United decision, companies have been able to donate millions of unregulated dollars to political causes as a form of protected free speech. Behind many of the largest corporate contributions are influential CEOs on the left and the right, such as Sheldon Adelson and Tom Steyer, who hope that in exchange, Congress will work to push their political agendas. When I ran for district supervisor in 2018, it was very difficult to raise money. I'm connected with the low-income community and not the wealthy. The newspapers and social media deemed me not to be a viable candidate based on money raised. I'd like to see a different litmus test being used for candidates that have the passion and capacity to be considered a serious candidate and should no longer be the standard that politicians that have lunch with the wealthy be deemed the front runner and or the most qualified. Thank you, Member Duffy, for mentioning money in politics at the top of this meeting. The top 10 corporations that donate millions of dollars are the Senate Leadership Fund, Bloomberg, Las Vegas Sands, Adelson Clinic, Fund for Policy Reform, FAR LLC, Uline Inc., Citadel, Senate Majority PAC, and 1630 Fund. In conclusion, I'd like to thank Jackie Fielder for bringing AB 20 to my attention and thank the members that have co-sponsored: Mahogany, Baraka, Williams, Morales, Chair Campos, Galata, Ibanez, Marr, Haney, Avalos, Raju, and Ronan. Please note that the Board of Supervisors has passed a resolution in support of AB 20. Thank you.
If we can have a motion to support, to pass resolution item number 6. Is there a motion?
Moved.
By Thomas, is there a second?
Second by Ibanez.
Second by Ibanez. Colleagues, any comments, questions? Okay, we'll go and proceed to vote. All those in, Member Ting.
Thanks. I'll just be brief. I want to just say this once, real quick, because I'll be saying, otherwise I'll be saying it on a few different items tonight. On items tonight that we're abstaining on, it's mainly because the bill hasn't come before us, and we don't know what kind of form it will take, and we're also not co-author. And my boss doesn't co-author a lot of bills because, as budget chair, he has to devote a lot of time and energy to that. So just letting you know that if we abstain on something tonight, that's why. Thanks.
Thank you. And the motion was by Member Thomas to our secretary. So on the motion and second, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? So it's Singh, Feinstein, Kounalakis, Pelosi. Anyone else? Great. Thank you very much. The resolution passes. Thank you again, Member Barry, for bringing it forward. The next item, item 7, is a resolution supporting AB 990, Prisons inmate violation. Again, this is also brought forward by Member Barry. Member
Thank you,
Barry,
Chair.
of course.
Thank you. AB 990 was authored by Assemblyman Santiago, co-authored by my favorite Assembly members Lee and Kara, and co-sponsored by the best DA in the country, our very own Chesa Boudin. This bill, the Public Safety Committee, this bill is in the, this bill passed the Public Safety Committee, and as of Monday, it is at the Appropriations Committee. Visiting a family member or friend who is in prison is an important way to maintain connections during incarceration and enhances the prisoner's success both while in prison and after release. The Department of Corrections recognizes visiting as an important way to maintain family and community ties. The Department of Corrections continues to offer real-time video visiting at 33 prisons and 32 conservation camps, which you might know as fire camps. They do it as a safe way for incarcerated people to see and speak with their loved ones. County jails should all offer the same. Due to prison realignment and orders to reduce prison numbers, a lot of inmates are serving their sentences for felonies in county jail. Also, it can take 5 years for court proceedings to reach a verdict, which means an innocent person can be deprived seeing their family, which brings them harm, especially to their children. Visiting decreases in prison offenses, visiting decreases in prison offenses. It increases functioning in society when released, and it reduces recidivism. I don't like crime, just like most people don't, but it's time we start looking for solutions that will reduce it. It's time that mass incarceration is deemed a failure. It's time we start caring about the root reasons on why people end up where they are. Once people are locked up, we need to work with those brothers and sisters on solutions to learn how to live and no longer think that hard time will teach them. Yet in prison, a lot of people get sicker, slicker, and go back quicker. Lacking humanity is being complacent with someone being the next victim of a crime. Let's stop feeling trepidation about helping people. Stop helping people make money off of the poor and make visiting a right. Thank you to members Raju, Avalos, Lovett, Ibanez, and Galata for co-sponsoring.
Thank you. And if you want to be added as a co-sponsor, please put it in the chat. I know I want to be added. So on the resolution supporting AB 990, can we have a motion and support?
So move, Ibanez.
So motion by Ibanez.
Second.
Second by Baraka. Are there any comments? So we'll now go to a vote on the motion to support AB 990 on the resolution. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? Say nay. Any abstentions? Please read. So Walker, who else? Kounalakis, Feinstein. Anyone else? Great. The resolution passes. Thank you again, Member Barry, for bringing this forward, and thank you to all the co-sponsors. We'll now move on to item number 8, and that's a resolution in support of SB 714 and uplifting the voices of aspiring citizens in the Democratic Party. And we had a number of speakers on this, and I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor, and I'll put it in the chat. We'll now turn it over to Member Galata.
Thanks. Thank you, Chair Campos. And yes, thank you to all the folks who spoke in support during public comment. I think we know as San Francisco Democrats, we have a long history of standing with the immigrant community and aspiring citizens in our city. It's part of our values and who we are as Democrats. And the San Francisco Democratic Party has consistently weighed in on issues affecting the immigrant community, whether it has been fighting to ensure San Francisco remains a sanctuary city, whether it's calling for the abolishment of ICE, or supporting the empowerment and enfranchisement of non-citizens at the ballot box. We have endorsed measures like Proposition N in 2016 to give non-citizens the right to vote in school board elections. And of course, our endorsement last year of Prop C, Commissions for All. And both of these measures, I should note, were passed with significant majorities of San Francisco voters. So we have been clear as a party that aspiring citizens deserve more than a voice in our politics. They deserve a seat at the table. And Chair Campos, as a formerly undocumented immigrant yourself, you made history at this body by appointing Sarah Souza, a DACA recipient, to serve on the San Francisco Democratic County Central Committee in 2018. And I believe that made Sarah the first dreamer to serve on any DCCC in the state of California and possibly the country. And I do want to take a moment to acknowledge my friend and former colleague, Sarah Souza, who is now a commissioner on the Immigrant Rights Commission, for her fearless leadership in fighting for undocumented immigrants at every level of government, in every political body, on every stage and platform she has had, and for never giving up. And it's no surprise that Sarah has been one of the main advocates behind SB 714, which, as we heard earlier, would amend the California State Election Code to allow aspiring citizens to serve as duly elected or appointed members of Democratic County Central Committees throughout California. So this would give every Democrat, regardless of citizenship status, the opportunity to serve their party at the local and state level. And tonight, I'm asking that we officially move to support AB 714. Sarah shared the good news with me yesterday that SB 714 passed unanimously out of the Elections Committee at the state legislature on Monday. It moves next to Appropriations Committee. And so now is the time when lending our voice really matters. With a Democratic supermajority, there's no reason we shouldn't be able to move this legislation forward this year, but we still have to push to make it happen. And the California Democratic Party Legislation Committee is expected to actually vote on supporting SB 714 this coming week at convention. And so my hope is that they will stand with us in support. So I hope that tonight we will continue to lead the way and stand in solidarity with the immigrant community and the multiracial coalition that has come together in support of this bill. I want to thank Senator Ana Caballero, who introduced this bill, the Latino Legislative Caucus for making this bill a priority in the legislative session this year, and of course to Commissioner Souza for her continued advocacy and incredible leadership on behalf of San Francisco Democrats. You make us proud, Saudas. Thank you. And I'd like to turn it over to my co-sponsor, Member Ibanez, or any other members who'd like to add comments. Thank you.
Yes, Member Ibanez.
Thank you, Peter. I urge all of my colleagues to support this. This is such an important bill, SB 714. Peter said it very eloquent as to why we need to support this. We need the voices of our unrepresented community. The voices of our immigrant community is important to have. We talk consistently about representation matters, and it truly does matter. We also seen the example that Commissioner Souza has set by being on this board, by also being at the State Democratic Party, and by also leading Prop C that passed with an overwhelmingly support. And I think it's such an important bill for us. And it also supporting it, it also goes with the values that we have as the San Francisco Democratic Party. So I urge your support.
Thank you, Member Ibanez. Any other comments, colleagues? Seeing none, if we can have a motion.
I'll move this item.
So motion by Secretary Lee. Is there a second? Second by Member Berry. On the motion to support resolution 8, item 8, resolution in support of SB 714. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed say nay.
Nay.
Nay. Feinstein. And any abstentions?
Abstain.
Who is that? Is that Kounalakis?
Yes.
Okay. Great. Thank you very much. The resolution passes, and thank you, Member Galata, for bringing this forward. We'll now go to item number 9, which is also brought forward by Member Galata. It's a resolution urging Mayor Breed and the San Francisco Board of Supervisors to uphold the will of San Francisco voters and allocate Prop I revenue to rent relief and permanently affordable housing. Member Galata.
Thanks. Thank you, Chair Campos. Yeah, and thank you first off to all the folks also who came out and gave public comment tonight in support of this. I know so many of us and so many San Francisco Democrats and voters turned out in support of Prop I last year. The Democratic Party, we endorsed Prop I vociferously. We worked hard to help get this measure passed, even as Republican money flooded San Francisco to try to stop it. But we made clear as the voters that we supported a marginal tax increase on the ultra wealthy in order to help people who need it most recover from COVID-19. And I think there's a real frustration right now, and we heard this from the public tonight, about the bait and switch that's underway in room 200 to not honor the will of the voters and allocate the funds for rent relief and social housing, which we know is so very needed in San Francisco. And what's interesting is I know not all of us have been able to, we're watching tonight the State of the Union, but President Biden tonight in his address really pointed out the need for progressive policies like Proposition I. And he said, and I'll quote, "It's time for corporate America and the wealthiest 1% to begin to pay their fair share." And that's exactly what Prop I was about. And we have the opportunity to put that into action and really utilize those funds for the intended purpose and to support our communities in our recovery from COVID-19. And so I just want to say I'm super grateful to Supervisor Dean Preston and the District 5 office and their leadership, not only in championing Prop I on the ballot, but continuing to fight to make sure that the will of the voters is honored. And so I'd actually I think Supervisor Preston is with us, and I'd like for him, if I may, Chair Campos, ask the supervisor to speak just on this item so we can hear just about the situation with the funds and why we should take action on this resolution tonight.
Thank you, Vice Chair Galata. Supervisor Preston, thank you for being here and for pointing this issue out to us. And quite frankly, I was very upset when you told me about this because we went all out on this item, and the voters were very clear. And I don't understand why the mayor or anyone would stand in the way of this. So, Supervisor, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Chair Campos, and let me just join others in congratulating you on your victory for State Party Vice Chair. Very exciting. Also very excited for the potential of incoming Chair Mahogany, but we'll save congratulations for after there's a vote. But I want to thank members Galata and Ibanez for authoring this resolution, and also just really for all their work in not just passing a Prop I, but this follow-up and follow-through. As has been mentioned, last year this body took a stand, a really strong stand in support of Prop I to tax the biggest real estate transactions. As Member Galata said, a truly progressive tax, taxing only real estate sales over $10 million. And let's be real, we all knew what was at stake with this measure: the campaign materials, the voter handbook, a unanimous Board of Supervisors resolution, 2 unanimous ordinances, all passed and made very clear the intended use of these funds. And then, despite being outspent by a margin of 20 to 1 by major corporate interests and Republican donors, the campaign to pass Proposition I prevailed, and it wasn't close. I mean, voters overwhelmingly passed the measure with 58% of the vote. Really, this was a clear mandate. And with thousands of renters struggling to pay back rent, and an overwhelming need for permanently affordable housing, voters of San Francisco understood that it was essential to fund these critical housing programs and to do so by taxing those with the most. And to give some context really briefly to the need, as much as $32 million per month, according to the budget legislative analyst, up to as much as 32 million per month of rent debt is piling up for San Francisco tenants. The relief from the federal and state governments will not come close to covering this looming and still growing debt. We need these Prop I funds. And at the same time, I think we all know we desperately need to ramp up affordable housing creation in San Francisco, and these funds for social housing are absolutely critical to that effort. So I just want to reiterate the thanks to this body for taking a stand for endorsing Proposition I, and as Chair Campos pointed out, not just endorsing it, but going to bat for it. And I want to thank all the voters of San Francisco who voted for this. This was viewed at the time as a bold measure, with questions raised, frankly, even by folks who were sympathetic to the cause, but who really had questions whether we were going to be able to win this being outspent by such a huge margin. But we did, and now I think we owe it to those who voted for Proposition I, who put their confidence in leaders of this city to use the funds as intended to fund these critical housing needs. So I urge you to further the will of voters by passing this resolution. Would be happy to answer any questions you might have, and just appreciate again Member Galata and Member Ibanez for bringing this resolution forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Supervisor Preston, and thank you for all you do every day in that building. It's greatly appreciated. On item number 9, which is the resolution regarding Prop I, if we can have a motion supporting that. It's a motion by Vice Chair Mahogany. Can we have a second?
Second.
Vice Chair Baraka. Any comments? Member Ivan, do you want to add anything to it?
Yeah, I just want to say that let's remember that before COVID, we had a housing crisis. During COVID, the crisis just got worse. And we do have a responsibility to the voters who overwhelmingly supported this with over 58%, as both Supervisor Preston and Member Galata indicated. The attacks that came from not just the Republicans, but from the real estate and the developers trying to defeat this. We really need to stand to ensure that our mayor actually supports the intent of this. And the intent is to ensure that there's rent relief. We know that there are thousands of people that are going to be losing their houses. And we need to stand up and support. And we know that we need affordable housing to be built as well, and permanent affordable housing. And that is the intent. And that's what the voters of San Francisco wanted. And so let's stand united and support this resolution.
Vice Chair Baraka.
I would just like to make a brief comment and say that to those who really do have the mayor's ear on this issue, my plea would be a little bit more personal. And the reason why it's personal is because I know that part of the mayor's story is that she grew up in low-income housing. And my plea is to ask her to not deny others the ability to have a safe place to call home themselves. And for all of those hurting, and the voters of San Francisco knew what they were voting for. And thank you very much, Supervisor Preston, for your comments on this. I think that it's I don't want to say reprehensible, but in many ways it is, that we would go against the will of the voters. So please, let's support this. Let's make sure that people can stay in their homes. Let's make sure that we have a city where low-income folks can have a place to live. That is all.
Thank you. Member Thomas, do you want to add anything?
Thank you, Mr. Chair Campos. I want to thank Member Galata and Supervisor Preston for their leadership on this. As we've already talked about, we already voted as a whole city on this issue, and there is a lot of unity around what this symbolizes. And I can just say, from working with tenants, that we have seen the dire straits that tenants are in right now and facing across the state, but especially here in San Francisco. And our city showed leadership by stepping up to try and help people. And it's troubling to see that those efforts might be for naught. So I appreciate that this has been highlighted. I would ask that we have a roll call vote on this measure.
Great. So we have requested a roll call vote. So we are going to go and proceed to that. So I'll turn it to our recording secretary, Janice Lee, for a roll call. And I is vote in support of the resolution. Nay is in opposition. And of course, you can always abstain. So, Madam Secretary.
Thank you. So for the resolution, that's item number 9. Member Avalos.
Member Avalos?
I'll just go through it quickly and can return to some names if I don't hear anything. Member Baraka.
Aye.
Member Barry.
Aye.
Chair Campos.
Aye.
Member Chen. Member Dufty.
Sorry, aye for member Chen.
Yep. Member Galata.
Aye.
Member Haney.
Aye.
Member Ibanez.
Aye.
Member Kim.
Aye.
Member Lacroix.
Aye.
Member Lee. Aye. Member Loftus.
Abstain.
Member Lovett.
Aye.
Member Mandelman.
Aye.
Member Marr.
Aye.
Member Mahogany.
Aye.
Member Malika. Member Morales.
Aye.
Member Raju.
Aye.
Member Ronan.
Aye.
Member Thomas.
Aye.
Member Tong.
Abstain.
That was abstain. All right, Member Williams.
Aye.
Member Feinstein.
Abstain.
Member Pelosi.
Is that an abstain?
Yes, abstain.
You, Member Spear. Oh, I don't think she's here. Member Kounalakis.
Abstain.
Member Cohen.
Abstain.
Member Weiner.
Abstain.
Member Ting.
Aye.
Member Chu.
Aye.
Just to check back, Member Avalos.
Aye.
Thank you. And then Member Moliga, if you're here. This motion carries unanimously alongside 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 abstentions. Congratulations.
Great. Thank you very much to Supervisor Preston for coming. Thank you to Member Galata, Member Ibanez, and you know, the one note that I would say as a city, whether you supported this or not, if you're going to go back to the voters down the road and ask for anything, make sure that you lived up to the commitments that you made, because they're not going to give you what you asked for in the future if you don't do that. So hopefully they'll heed that. I do want to note, and we'll be doing this, but I wanted to let Supervisor Preston know that we do want to offer our sincerest condolences to you and your family for the passing of your father, Kenneth Preston, and that we will be adjourning the meeting in his memory at the end of the meeting. But I wanted to just express that on behalf of the body to you and your family.
Thank you so much, Chair Campos. Appreciate it very much. And thank you, Member Barry, for bringing that forward as well. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Our condolences again. We'll now move on to item number 10, which is support of Assembly Bill 650, the Healthcare Worker Recognition and Retention Act, which was brought forward by Member Williams. Is Member Williams here?
If I may, Member Williams asked me to speak to this as a co-sponsor.
Wonderful. Vice Chair Lovett.
So this is in support of Assembly Bill 650, which is the Healthcare Worker Recognition and Retention Act. So we know what a tremendous toll that COVID has taken on so many people's lives. And the people who feel it the most, along with those who have fallen ill, are the healthcare workers who are on the front line. We're talking about workers from the paramedics to the nurses to the technicians, but also to folks who are working in the offices and in the periphery of these very stressful hospitals and clinics and places where you see a lot of dying and a lot of morbidity. We also know that during this pandemic, some of the healthcare companies have really profited from what's occurring. Sutter Health has seen a $200 million income, up 5.8% from the previous year. Kaiser reported 6.3 billion, and that's up 5% from the previous year. These healthcare companies have also benefited from billions in federal support during this pandemic. But what is happening with the workers on the front line? These workers are burning out. There was a national poll conducted back in February by Washington Post and Kaiser Family Foundation, no relation to Kaiser. And it indicates that 3 out of 10 healthcare workers have been thinking about leaving, and more than half are burnt out. And I can't imagine that kind of stress. I have seen my own father cycle in and out of the hospital. And just thinking about all the other patients who, are dealing with very critical illness. So we know that our healthcare system is extremely broken. And, these people are, dealing with, tremendous burdens, and then they have to go home and take care of their own families and their own lives. What this bill would do is provide a bonus for both part-time and full-time workers. And this is expected where the firms have more than 100 employees, and the benefits would go to non-executives. So that would be, like nursing assistants and paramedics, registered nurses. This is supported by the SEIU United Healthcare Workers West. And so I put this forth to ask for people's support in this body.
Thank you very much, Vice Chair Lovett. On the item 10, can we have a motion and support? Is there a motion? A motion by Vice Chair Lacroix. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Vice Chair Baraka. Any other comments? So on the motion to support the resolution, all those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Kanalakis, was it Ting?
Yep.
Ting. Any other abstention? Great, the motion passes and the resolution is approved. Thank you very much again to Member Williams and to Vice Chair Lovett for presenting it tonight. We'll now go on to item number 11, which is a resolution urging the federal government to allow self-attestation of gender and a third gender marker on federal documents. This is an item that has been brought forward by Vice Chair Mahogany. And of course, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor. Vice Chair Mahogany.
Thank you, Chair Campos. I'm actually really happy to bring this resolution to the body today on behalf of community activist Jordan Davis, who brought this potential opportunity to my attention, because I think we have an opportunity here to do something supportive and positive that is addressing a serious barrier to trans people's safety and ability to self-identify. In California and many other states, we have long since allowed for self-attestation. This is important for a variety of reasons, least of which is that requiring a doctor's sign-off to change one's gender unofficial documents is extremely burdensome in a country where people still face serious hurdles in accessing healthcare. And more worrying still is this wave of anti-transgender laws that seek to actually deny trans people from accessing the very same healthcare, among other things, that they would need in order to do this. So this resolution very simply urges the federal government to allow for self-attestation of gender identity and the inclusion of a third gender option on all documentation under federal jurisdiction, including but not limited to passports and Social Security, and ask President Biden to take executive action to allow trans people to change their gender marker without a doctor's note. Again, this would simply bring the federal government's process in line with those of the state of California and many other states across this country. So I hope I will have your support for this common sense, straightforward resolution.
Well, thank you, Vice Chair Mahogany, for bringing this forward. And we work very hard to elect this team in the White House, and hopefully they'll do the right thing. On the resolution, can we have a motion in support?
I'll move it.
Motion by Secretary Lee. Is there a second? Second by Member Barry. Colleagues, any comments or questions? On the motion in support of resolution number 11, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. Any abstentions?
Abstain.
Who is that?
Kunalakis.
Kunalakis. Any other abstentions? Well, thank you very much, Vice Chair Mahogany. The resolution passes. And thank you, Jordan Davis, for bringing this to our attention. Proud that we did that. We'll now go on to item number 12, new business. Let me begin by asking the Executive Director if there's any item that we need to discuss or for any future meeting. We talked about making sure that the election of a new chair is placed on the agenda, which it will be. Colleagues, anything else? Member Barry.
Yes, I would like to discuss perhaps in our future meeting protocol. It's not clear to me, like sometimes our resolutions, well, all the time the resolutions say underneath discussion. And lately, a lot of times it seems like there's a lot of statements and not a lot of discussion. So I recall my first resolution I passed in reference to the Hunters Point shipyard. Member Cohen and I discussed the matter thoroughly, and she asked questions she had and so forth. And I just feel last month, our meeting, the agenda item that agreed that we would recommend Allison Collins resign. I feel like the item wasn't discussed thoroughly, and there was a lot of unanswered questions, and it was late, so we kind of ended it, and I really feel sad in that. I left that meeting in a lot of pain, and like I wasn't heard, and I feel the Black community was harmed by that meeting. And I just would like to discuss more about how we handle issues where two communities are harmed, and definitions of terms, racism, white supremacy, just different things like that. I think as a body, we don't get together but once a month. And I just want to discuss more protocol.
Vice Chair.
Thank you, Chair Campos, and thank you, Member Barry, for your comments. I definitely hear you on that. I think we do need to have more discussion as a body. At the last meeting, I did put myself forward as someone who would look into ways in which we could help have these conversations. And so I've been doing outreach to many other DCCC members, including Member Lee, Member Lacroix and others, just to sort of start the conversation and look at some of our options. And so I was meaning to loop you into the conversation as well. So I will include you in that. But what we have been thinking about is having really a forum specifically for Black and API members of the DCCC to be able to have a discussion. And we are currently exploring a possible facilitator who can help us facilitate that conversation. So I hope that will help meet some of your needs, specifically in that case, but definitely look forward to discussing further some clarification around process as you were discussing. So thank you.
Member Barry, would it be okay if we just sort of let you and Vice Chair Mahogany and others have that conversation to figure out exactly what this item looks like on the agenda, or whatever future event the committee has? Or is there something specific that you want added to the agenda?
It's not so specific of that matter. Is more of what our protocol is. When, like I was told, there won't be any back and forth on this issue, at one point. And I had a question, so what is protocol? Can we, if we have a question as members, do we have the respect as all the other members to ask a question that we want to have an answer to?
Well, I think that's always, everyone has the right to ask a question and, seek an answer, and, whether the answer actually addresses the question is something else, but everyone has a right to present a question.
May I make a couple of recommendations here?
Yes, Member Lee.
I think you're bringing up some really good points about, how discussion actually occurs within this meeting space specifically. So I would recommend two things. One is Vice Chair Lovett, as the chair of the Issues and Resolutions Committee, if there can be some discussion about where could that more deeper discussion occur. I'm just thinking, for example, at Milk Club, there's Milk Club PAC meetings where much deeper discussion, especially on policy issues, occur, and that those are then summarized at the full Milk Club, general meetings, for example. And perhaps we could do a version of that here, just because we know we have limited time, within these proceedings. My second recommendation is noting, Member Barry, that you are in the executive committee. Perhaps this can be a discussion at our next executive committee meeting to talk about how we can give proper space at these DCCC monthly meetings to have discussion, but also make sure that we're not having these meetings go until midnight like the last one did.
Member Barry, any comments on that?
Through the chair to Member Lee, you say I'm part of an executive committee?
Oh, perhaps not. I actually cannot remember who's on the exec committee. But I think that this is certainly something that we can and should discuss at the executive committee level too, and also in the Issues and Resolutions Committee. So I think there's a couple of venues to discuss, this protocol question.
My suggestion would be, if it's okay, to maybe have a conversation that includes Vice Chair Mahogany, who has been in these discussions, that includes Vice Chair Lovett, who is with the Issues Committee, and myself, and Member Barry, to figure out, what the right venue, forum for this kind of a discussion is. Because I definitely think that we need to have it. And maybe it is something that happens before the entire body, but I think that having a more focused conversation about different options would make sense. And I know that I would be open to whatever is people feel is appropriate, and I'm sure that the next year would as well.
I would just like to.
Yes, Member Baraka, Vice Chair Baraka.
Thank you, Chair Campos. I would just like to just briefly mention that one of the things that came out of the survey that Member Galata and Member Gupta worked really hard on, one of the leading things was for us as a body to have forms for the public. Maybe this could be one of our forums that we produce and make it a community discussion. That's just something that I'm throwing out because I do remember that being a big part of the survey response. That was a high ticket item. So I just wanted to throw that out as well.
Okay. Vice Chair Lovett.
So last year, as this body started to meet, we tried what is actually in the policy manual around having a separate sort of an issues meeting that people could drop in on. And I recall that you remember, Barry, you came to that first one, but that first one became the only one because, you know, the next 2 months I would put out the call and it was like a Friday night. So even with a COVID pandemic, nobody was coming to a virtual meeting on Friday night. So we could try that again. But I think we really need a fuller group of people to hear each other out. And so I really like that idea that Vice Chair Brock is putting out about a special forum, because these are deep, long-running issues. And everybody was exhausted. I mean, I'm grateful we're probably going to end 3 hours ahead of time today. And we need the emotional energy to be present for each other. So I am all for the idea of creating a forum and a space for that.
Well, my recommendation and suggestion would be that Vice Chairs Mahogany, Lovett, Baraka, myself, and Member Barry, and anyone else who wants to be a part of that conversation, maybe have a meeting, a Zoom that the ED, that the Executive Director can put together so we can have a conversation about this forum as a place where we can have that discussion.
I think, Chair Campos, if it's okay, I would like to be included in that conversation as well, both like in like these dual roles, but particularly as parliamentarian. I think that, you know, as we're thinking about how conversations are happening on the floor here at the DCCC, I think like having that perspective would be helpful as well. So happy to contribute in any way.
That makes sense. And if anyone else would like to be a part of that, please let Karima know that so that she can set up that meeting. Thank you very much. Any other new business? We'll now move on to the adjournment, and I know that we have a couple.
I apologize, Chair Campos.
Yes.
Sorry, I didn't get my hand. Just want to flag for everybody one thing before we adjourn. This Saturday at 10 a.m., the San Francisco Labor Council, in partnership with several Bay Area labor councils and San Francisco chapter of APALA, and IFPTE Local 21 and SEIU 1021 are hosting a recreation of the 1934 May Day Parade March up Market Street. For those who aren't familiar with May Day, it was it's part of the rich history of workers' rights and workers' advocacy in this country. A lot of the rights that we take for granted, like the 8-hour workday, and several others are attached to this. And around the world, it's often referred to as May Day as a Labor Day, but here in the United States, we have often cite Labor Day as that day. So this march will be down Market Street. It'll be at 10 a.m. There's a Facebook event for it. So if you just search May Day Parade on Facebook, you'll be able to find it. We'll be marching down to the Embarcadero. Everybody is welcome. If you are a member of a union, please wear your union jackets and hats. We'd love to have you there.
Thank you very much, Member Thomas. Any other announcements, new business? Okay, we'll now move on to adjournment but I know that Member Barry, you had a request to adjourn in the memory of a couple of individuals. So I just want to turn the floor over to you.
Yes, I just wanted to adjourn in honor of Dean Preston's father, Kenneth Preston, and also in honor of Member Kim's father. I know the pain of losing a parent, and I just want to honor both their fathers because they produced and gave us a gift of two extraordinary people.
Thank you, Member Barry. And I know that we were able to say that to Supervisor Dean Preston, that we would adjourn in the memory of Kenneth Preston, and of course our condolences to that family. And I also want to thank you for noting that one of our own members, member Jane Kim, that her father also passed away. And so we want to extend our condolences to member Kim and her family. And her father's name is Richard Kwong Ho Kim. Without any objection, we are adjourning today in the memory of Kenneth Preston and Richard Kwong Ho Kim. Our condolences to their families and loved ones, and may they rest in peace. And with that, without objection, the meeting is adjourned. And thank you, San Francisco Democrats. And don't forget that the state convention, the California Democratic Party convention, begins tomorrow. Have a good night. Thank you all.